but we are ready to continue with our top 4. JonSnow just said 3 for 3, Todd. He made it all 3 times. And obviously he wants to go further this time.
That's consistency, man.
Yeah, that nerd show consistency almost, right?
It's building up. The North American nerd show, perhaps.
Well, he's still got a little way to go, but he's definitely working on the road. Let's go ahead and jump into the game. First game is live. Playing a best of 3 this time. Over here on the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of our Korean Zerg living in the United States of America. It is true.
Where in the US?
I believe it is Virginia or Maryland or DC. Maybe it's, I know it's a DC area, but somewhere East Coast. It's a battle of the East Coast this time.
Yeah. Once again, and starting in the top left-hand side, playing for Team Storm Gaming. It's of course JonSnow, Jared George. Pretty consistent, 3 times out of 3. I'm sure he wouldn't mind going to Montreal as well. That's going to be coming up in a while.
Yeah, he's really been showing great progress as a player. He's always been, you know, even in the NASL days, JonSnow was already a player that was often participating in the qualifiers. And whenever we had, like, you know, North American-based events, like a little NA King of the Hill, JonSnow was one of those guys that was around and tried to participate. But it's safe to say that he has truly grown as one of America's best over the years. And I'm curious to see how it goes here. You know, in the old days, we always spoke about team kills, and this is going to be awkward because they both know so much about each other. But I think everybody knows a lot about True, but it doesn't mean it's easy to defeat him. You kind of know what to expect. It should be a fun series, though. I have no idea who to give the edge to. I think this is pretty 50-50. I think it's quite up in the air. But I think it's safe to say that we have seen a much better True this tournament than we did in the last Challenger.
What I like a lot about True's play is that he knows how to play to his image a lot. He's able to identify when his opponents will have recognized that he's going to be doing one certain things, and then he will make adjustments from there. Even if that's just doing the exact same thing, but then using it with a different timing, like we saw earlier up against Neeb, with mixing in different attack timings with the same composition that he was going into. Even the whole game plan, to be fair, the game plan was beautiful. Like, you know how strong Neeb is at playing standard games against standard composition, and in the late game, True let none of that happen. He made that an awkward, chaotic game with lots of attacks and didn't let it get to the very late game.
Well, JonSnow is building up a lot of Zerglings. He has pushed his Overlord away as well with his Queens. True made quite a few drones. He made 7 drones more, but I don't think that's like that crazy amount of drones that you're going to get punished for. We already have 2 Banelings morphing on the other side of the map. True is going to run into the natural with his Lings, and what will he see? Well, there are no drones here. He's going to see more and more Lings. So True knows what's up. We're going to have a lot of early game aggression here. His Banelings are not ready yet, Todd.
He can run past. JonSnow could just run past this. He's going to try to blow up these Banelings with his own Banelings, but then these cocoons were very weakened. He finishes them off, but then the Queen in the meantime bought a lot of time here. That's going to prevent True from getting any Banelings, though.
He's going to use the Banes there on the Queens. Gets another decent connection
Oh,
there.
these 2 Banes on the right-hand side are so low, morphing right there. But so far, it's a good defense from True.
Yep, I totally agree. I like the idea that JonSnow had there, but it felt it all just took a tiny bit too much time. And in the end, I think True was able to get out enough units defensively. Still more Lings on the way for JonSnow, who's not giving up, wants to just be hyper-aggressive here. But it's safe to say that True has defended this with flying colors, passed the test, and he's not struggling all that much, Todd.
Yeah, easy defense. He's going to tap out here. True takes the 1-0 lead, and again, this is just the best of 3, so 1 map away here from moving on to the next round, where he would face Scarlet to try and get a spot in the grand finals.
Tiny bit surprised to see JonSnow tapping out there. I mean, of course, he invested a lot in that attack, and he was down 6 drones. But I kind of thought if this was like a round before, where, you know, qualification is on the line, I don't think he would have tapped out that fast.
Yeah.
This was just like, well, I'm going to attack. Oh, that didn't work. Well, GG, mate, you've got it. It's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and get ready for game number 2.
I feel like it might have worked if it had been microed a little bit differently, like prioritization and all that. But obviously, again, we shouldn't read into this too much. And man, True, I really thought this was going to be a tough day for him, and he wasn't going to make it. But 3-0 against Neeb. And now could be going up against Scarlet here if he closes things out against his teammate JonSnow.
And that would be a rematch of one of the matches we saw in the upper bracket earlier in this tournament. And that was a fun series. It was 3-2, a lot of short games as well. But we had a lot of variety in the build orders. You know, once again, like you said, playing to the image as well, switching up the timings. Things that look the same are necessarily not always the same. You know, an attack of 19 drones is incredibly different.
Same, but different.
Yeah, it's incredibly different than one of 24 drones, and you know, going pure roach or mixing in a couple Ravagers. Let's see what brings or what game number 2 will bring us, as True has already taken a very fast 1-0 lead in this series. We're loading into Ascension to Ire. Once again, over here on the left top side, the man that's still undefeated today. 4-0 so far. Can he go for 5-0? It is True.
With a solid defense in the previous game. His opponent, let's see if he plays aggressive here once more and tries to roll the dice. It is JonSnow. Do you know exactly where JonSnow lives?
No.
New York is big, like the East Coast is like...
Yeah, the state of New York is massive. Like, it's actually so much bigger than what I thought it used to be. I think it's upstate New York somewhere. I assume it's near a city called Albany. I think that's close to it. He definitely doesn't live like in Manhattan or something.
Yeah.
His university is a little too far away. You know, maybe thought if he keeps on dominating, wins a couple of WCS tournaments, and then he suddenly out of nowhere ends up winning BlizzCon. Next year we get a Snapchat picture of JonSnow
on Wall Street.
Yeah, penthouse in Manhattan, Central Park behind him. He's like, "Sup, guys? Upstate New York, you said?" He's like, "Look at me now." But I don't think I don't
Straight
think
from the Hamptons.
Yeah, I don't think he's there just yet.
One day. Aggression again or not? That is the big question. Like True. It seems like he was a little bit late on starting to make units, but somehow, as long as you have the Bailing Nest, you know, you're not going to be that much at a disadvantage. Like having the 2 queens there changed everything. That's what made JonSnow waste a lot of time and allowed True to get the 2 Bailings, the super important 2 Bailings that he used to defend after that. And clean micro, actually, from True, I would say.
Yep. And also thought a cliche when it comes to StarCraft and ZvZ and defending. Mr. Bitter always used to say, it's better to overreact than to underreact. He said that like every cast. But True definitely didn't underreact there. He did it more of like, 3 defensive Banelings and let's see how it goes. Nope, immediately went for 5 Banes. And when those got blown up, well, he had a couple of extra Banes ready and he kept on morphing them. He made sure he always had a Baneling to fall back to. And that's what made that defense look easy. Let's see. So far, JonSnow already made more drones than he did in the previous game. This is one of these maps that's actually so large as well. Like from natural to natural, it really takes quite some time. It's a big map.
Well, when you got link speed, it doesn't take that long, right?
Yeah, that's true. But for any sort of roach attack, it definitely takes a while. And if you want to go for any sort of Bane attack, you better be morphing those Banes damn close to your opponent's base. JonSnow already going up to 3 bases, so he's switching it up here, Todd.
And no Baning Nest, actually, from him. He's still mining gas a little bit. Barely going to have enough here in a second to start a Baning Nest if he wants to against the True, who's already got his. Yeah. Let's see if anyone starts units. For once, I'm not looking down at the screen, but up high at the production tab, because that's what tells the story here usually early on.
Yep, there you have it. 20 links on the way for JonSnow. He's going to try to apply some serious pressure on this hatchery. It's been taken on the low ground here for True. Obviously, different expand patterns so far. True is obviously going to make quite a few units as well. There's no way he's going to take that base and just wing it. See a Roach one as a follow-up. So that's nice for JonSnow. If you can avoid the Baneling phase without ever making a Baneling nest, you know, that even on workers and give a minor edge to JonSnow.
Yeah, that's just a single Baneling. If JonSnow got a cancel on that 3rd base and then started going to Roaches against Banelings that are being forced to morph across the map so defensively.
Oh, look at this one link, Todd.
Oh, the Baneling gets sniped. And JonSnow's going to get a cancel on that.
That one link, well, not even a cancel. He's going to get the kill, even better. And it's safe to say that this has been a pretty disastrous start for True. Made a Baneling nest, only made a single defensive Baneling, and it couldn't get the job done. That one link deserves the MVP award of this game so far. Just pulled like 9, 10, 11 Zerglings out of position of True.
The Silver Star. The Silver Tumor to wear on his chest. Oh my god! Where did that come from? You morphed that across the map, I guess, and followed your advice. Roaches and Lings are going to be needed there. Queen already taking a position behind the minerals to try and take cover, but these Lings...
Yeah, I think that JonSnow is going to be able to defend this. He's going to end up losing a couple of Lings. These Lings are annoying.
Banelings are going to come in here. No, actually, yeah, he needs to pull back. There are Roaches there available. And now, did he see actually the Roaches, all of them? But must have seen a couple.
He saw a couple pop.
That's
in
the big tell, though, that there is a danger of a counter-attack with a lot of roaches, and upon seeing that, True starts his own roach run.
But True is also kind of the king of counter-attack, so I'm not sure how I feel about a slow roach attack on a map as large as this one, and that's as open as this one as well. True is going to keep his units here for now. He's going to get his own roach run on the other side of the map. I think we're just going to see a macro game. At least what True was able to force out with all his links and that Baneling scare is that he forced out that many roaches, while JonSnow is just still making roaches. Well, now he's making drones.
He's making a couple. He's catching up a little bit on the walker count, but not as much as if he would only have made drones. I think he wants to drone up, but he's afraid also of an attack, maybe. I don't know what it is. Because his overload is also like kind of far out. Actually, a queen. Never mind. I thought he was going there, but just went straight for the third.
Might still go there soon. It's just a bunch of roaches on each side. JonSnow still making more roaches, so it's incredibly unlikely that we don't see our Zerk from upstate New York move out anytime soon. Because he just has a little too much at the moment. 55 army supply. Let's keep a close look at the production tab of True. True is not making drones, and he has a lot of money, so he definitely has time to catch up, and he's going to make 10 roaches at once, which should perhaps make this a doable hold, because it takes a long time for these slow roaches to march across the map.
True's catching up on the army supply there. Remember, he's going to have the queens defensively, and he linked his bases from the natural to third base, so they're going to get them there even quicker, which is very important because he didn't take the other base.
Yeah, I think for JonSnow it's important that he immediately dives.
Oh, and the link counter-attack, by the way, up there is very dangerous.
Yeah. Actually, there's a layer now on the way as well, so I think that JonSnow just wanted to force out all those roaches, and he's gonna back off. But this is indeed a pretty successful counter already, getting 3-4 drones very quickly. And the queen is out of position as well. This queen might get picked off, a roach is gonna get picked off. And it's safe to say that True, like I said, the king of counterattacks, was able to get some work done here. These links are in trouble though. Some of us will fall. Some of them will live to tell the tale to their...
And fight another day as well, in their memory.
Or evolve into Banelings. I can definitely see True morph a couple of these links into Banes later and try to just wiggle their way into this mineral line. Maybe get a cheeky connection.
I think JonSnow is ready to just like purely drone up at this point and take it to later stages because he's upgrading, going for clear reconstitution, getting +1 missile, and he just took a lot of gases actually. One in the third and one in an additional one in the main base. That's going to bring him up to 5 gases against the only 4 of True right now.
True's attack is a little bit later, but I don't think that's that big of an issue. As you know, we don't really have spires on the way or any tech building. It's just going to come down to roaches, and as long as True is going to be able to get his own roach speed, he should be alright. He should be able to hang in there. It's going up to 4 bases now, as we see this hatch being thrown down at 9 o'clock. JonSnow still working with the 3 hatcheries he's had since the beginning of the game. First Ravagers being morphed for True. I always wonder how to feel about True in Roach Ravager Wars. We saw a couple of his ZvZs in Austin. And there was this one game on Proxima where I think he played against Snoop, and he just kept on making roaches. He maxed out on roach over and over and over and over again. Never made a single Ravager, never really made anything else. And by the time that I finally thought that Snoot did it, that Snoot was going to be able to win, more roaches showed up and cleaned up the Hydras, took out the last base, and True was able to get a victory, which was coming for a long time because he was ahead after the early game. But for some reason it felt so much harder because he never transitioned. He was still stuck on his stack. JonSnow's going to test the waters here, Johan, but against all those Ravagers and the Queens, I mean, he does have a lot of roaches.
Ooh, he goes forward against Corrosive Bite. It lands on his backline. That did a lot there. The Queen at the front is going to fall. And actually, True feels he doesn't have enough yet. He's going to pull some drones. Corrosive Bite. They're actually going to miss for the most part. Nice micro by JonSnow, but there is enough left over here for True to easily clean up. Not sure what JonSnow is still fighting. He needs to run away.
Yep. I mean, he stayed around there quite long. He did get those 7 drones that were pulled for a split moment. True wanted to make sure he didn't end up losing his Ravagers. JonSnow is going to try to catch up in the worker department, making 7 extra drones. But despite the fact that True lost 7 workers there, he was still ahead by 10. He's going to make his own drones there as well. And don't forget that he also was able to keep the majority of his Ravagers alive, which are obviously slightly more important than the roaches because they're more expensive. So
True never started +2 missile. But JonSnow did, so if that completes, it would be really nice, I think, for him. He's definitely hoping for that to happen. There it is for True. Very late. He's halfway through done already here for JonSnow.
Still has that minor lead worker-wise, has a much faster forward base.
You know, stay on 56 walkers, just max out on roaches. You're going to have a bigger army, be up one upgrade, then try and take the fight. And he needs to dodge corrosive bite better. I think the first wave landing was a big deal.
Yeah, it landed right in the middle of the pack. Definitely did a lot of splash damage there. But the biggest issue, I think, for JonSnow is that he doesn't have a forward hatch. You know, you can see True running around. He's like, still on 3 hatches. All right, well, let's max out.
Did you hear that? I heard autosis.
Oh yeah, I was listening. I think I had JonSnow's point of view. I have the game stunts very low.
I can't believe it. These guys are playing in a tournament with the voice pack, getting tastosies to cheer them on.
Oh, that's the only way to do it.
All fighting for the GG.
Every time I play a game, early on there's 2 links going for my pylon that I used to block a hatch. I hear tasteless. They're going for the pylon. A classic tactic. It's like I've heard that line so many times already. Like, all right, Taste, I get it. True is marching across the map. He has a couple of units still on the south side as well. He's going for kind of a roach run-by in a natural, while trying to get a good fight here on the north side. JonSnow seems a little unorganized now. His units are all over the place. As he's going to try to run up this ramp as well. It's actually going to get tricky. Don't forget about all the roaches that True has in the natural of JonSnow. JonSnow will be able to clean this up because he's going to get right on top of all these Ravagers. But at what cost? He's losing a lot in the natural. He's losing reinforcements. Could end up losing the hatch, losing the roach warren perhaps.
Yeah, JonSnow is up one upgrade, but somehow he's getting run over right now by the overwhelming amount of roaches of True. Look at the production tab. 28 more roaches on the way. As long as True can do some more damage here with this, even if he ends up getting cleaned up, gets the cancel on the backup roach warren.
Yep.
And JonSnow is in all kind of troubles. As I look at the minimap and I see like a trail of red units headed for his third base as well, which should be left unprotected.
Yep, and this is just sad. Right now, JonSnow can't produce units. He's also a lot poorer than...
Back links, I guess?
Yeah. And against roaches with +2 and Ravages is going to be rough. I think that JonSnow is going to try to survive. I'm surprised that True didn't go for it. He wants to regroup instead, wants to wait for all his reinforcements. But he did a lot of damage there. That was a very successful attack by True. Even if he ended up losing, you know, the majority of his units here. He's got 4 bases, he's got the better economy, he's got everything going for himself. There's nothing that True has to worry about. So I think, Todd, we can gear ourselves for a rematch between True and Scarlet, which is going to be a best of 3 as well. And after that, of course, we're going to have our grand final left where Masa is waiting. The incredible Masa. That's 12-1 in this tournament so far. Good day for his Illusiolak ranking, Todd.
Yeah.
It's been skyrocketing. Buy the stock now.
Like it's maybe like the most, I mean, irrelevant ranking in a way, in the fact that you don't earn anything from it, but players pay a lot of attention to it.
Yep. They often tweet at Illusiolak as well when they played in a tournament and it's not reported. It's like, hey, play this tournament, got a couple of victories. Where are my points?
The guy behind the account, every time he sees one of those tweets, he's like, all right, I'll bring your ego back up. Give me a minute. Like, all I did.
It's in the old days. Do you remember in like the very beginning of StarCraft, everybody was always looking at the Ghost to Gamers ranking. The Muslim was like addicted to his Ghost to Gamers ranking. He was like just refreshing the page all day. Loved seeing his face.
Frame it on the wall.
Yeah, loved seeing his face on the front page. True is going to collapse on this army of JonSnow, and JonSnow just doesn't have the numbers. He's got a couple roaches, a couple Ravagers, but I think it's safe to say that True just has too much here. He's got more reinforcements coming in as well. 32 roaches on the production tab. He's still maxed out. Beastly macro here by True. Takes the series very convincingly. There's no other way to put it.
Good job by True here. He gets another ZvZ as his reward up against Scarlet in what seems to become a little bit more of one of the standard fixtures over in the North American region in terms of classic matchups. True standing pretty in 5th position, by the way, in the WCS Circuit rankings. Going to be earning himself a little bit more points. That win actually just now wasn't counted yet, I think, in that, so...
Well, it's
I'm sure he wouldn't mind going up.
I think 4th and 3rd is the same. You both get 90 points, but I think then if you make top 2, you get 140. So the next one is kind of big. True is asking if it's best of 3 or best of 5. I don't know if we have to go to a break. I mean, they're going to feed us, so it's going to take like a couple minutes, but...
Up to you. I mean, we control the length of the break anyway. Yeah. I don't care.
Maybe we'll head over to a very quick break, and after that we'll be back with True versus Scarlet as they're going to figure out their vetoes. And then we'll be back with More ZvZs, but the grand finale will be a ZvT, so it's not all about roach-on-roach violence. We're going to see some Marines die as well. Even
well,
though,
are we?
well, yeah, Master's been pretty good, so maybe we're not. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.